start the session, I would like to welcome each one of you. Welcome to Empowerment Talks and welcome to the Buy Jobs Hunt. And thank you so much for joining us on YouTube, Facebook, as well as on Zoom Live. So I'm requesting each one of you, please share where you're joining us from so that you can engage with the speaker. And now I'll move on to introducing I'll introduce today's speaker. So Trisha Chapman, this is my second session I'm attending, which is by Trisha. Trisha is an amazing personality and I'm really, really inspired by Trisha. So Trisha is a managing partner of Impressive CV. And also Impressive CV is a professional consultancy, which can basically help you in setting up your CV, setting up your cover letter, and many other things. She also helps you in setting up LinkedIn profile, which she'll be talking about a little later. Trisha has an extensive experience working with job candidates. And trust me when I say this, she also knows exactly how you can be recruited, what the trips and tricks you can do so that you can get the job quickly in Dubai or wherever you're looking for. So Trisha surprisingly also has a nursing practice master's. So when the first time I was interacting with her, I was like, wow, that's such a different profession, but she is amazing with a lot of things, and you will definitely come to know going forward. She crafts a high impactful career because she helps you with CV, she helps you with LinkedIn profile, she helps you with resume writing, she helps you with multiple things. And I'm so happy because when I lost my job as well, the first person I reached out to was Trisha, and I told her, Trisha, please help me with my profile. And she's so kind enough to actually share. She was so kind enough to share a template as well, which was absolutely for free. And she helped many people like me to get a job, set the resume, because we were really struggling. But I'm going to get back to Trisha and set up another profile so that I have it ready and going. So without taking a lot of time, over to you, Trisha. Please go ahead. And I am very excited to learn about today's session.
Wow, what a fantastic introduction. It's an honor and a pleasure to be part of your community, and I really hope that I can help and offer as much value as I can to this group. So fantastic introduction. So as you mentioned, I'm Trisha Chapman, the managing partner of Impressive CV, and I actually do have a nursing background, you're right. I guess I still am a nurse, even though I'm not actively in the hospitals anymore. I thoroughly enjoy nursing and do hope one day I will go back to it. I took on this sort of career change, I guess, with the same philosophy as what your group is already going through, to try and help and empower others. And I absolutely love the phrase before about you can't feed a man a fish, but you can't take a horse to the water and teach him how to drink it. But we're empowering people how to physically do these types of education, because at the end of the day, no one really teaches you how to write a CV, how to write an email or LinkedIn. It's very self-taught. So without further ado, I would really like to spend today's session on some cover letters, and more importantly, probably would be the email pitch. I'm sure that everyone will be able to follow the rules of engagement, but if you do have any questions at all, I'm happy to pause a couple of slides and then take questions, rather than leaving all to the end in case, I don't want to be scattering. So I'll pause probably every five slides and ask the host if there's any questions.
Sure. Yeah. I'll take a note of the questions so that you can answer them in the end also. No worries. Okay.
Fantastic. Okay, great. So I hope everyone can, I'm assuming we can all see my screen. I'm just going to put my laptop a bit better position. So I'm going to start with the session with cover letters, because some jobs are requesting them and others aren't. But at the end of the day, a cover letter provides you with the opportunity to be able to demonstrate how well you can express yourself for that particular position. Especially if you've researched the organization, it's your chance to shine, and you can cover extra things that you don't usually have room for in your CV, or it might not be really relevant to the job application, but you're really wanting to show that you do have the skills and it's outside of that job title. You can tell prospective employers that what position that you are actually going for, and perhaps maybe they might not you might not be applicable for that role, but it will give the recruiter an idea that you are a candidate for future or upcoming positions. So it's really, it's a great tool that we can use for various settings, even if they're not exactly requested for that application. You can still attach it with in mind that you could be considered for another alternative position. They can be a little bit tricky to write. I think, again, there's not much education around this topic. So you really want to be making sure, though, that you are, of course, introducing yourself and you're giving a clear picture to the recruiter of what the background is. But you want to be demonstrating to yourself that you have researched the organization and making sure that you're telling prospective employers what position you are actually applying for and why you're interested. So, for example, you want to be giving a brief history and one or two sentences of showcasing what you are capable of doing. You want to also make sure that you're telling the organization how you came about knowing of the position. So whether you saw the advert on LinkedIn or whether you were referred by a friend or Glassdoor, whatever job board you found the position, you want to mention that you came across it. So you want to be making sure that you are having probably a maximum of 3 paragraphs, and that would be enough for the recruiter to have an idea of what your skill sets are. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be repeating information on your CV as on the cover letter. So keep it nice, clear and concise. And I've got lots of infographics and pictures that you can take if you want to do screenshots and everything coming up. But the first paragraph is your introduction. You want to be able to connect with that reader. You don't want to be going over the top and giving far too much information. But then at the end of the day, you don't want to be just giving a one-liner. So you really want to be capturing the reader's attention to be able to encourage them to read further down the document. And how we do that, we'll go through with it. The second paragraph, I want to be making sure that you're summarizing your skills and your background. So you want to be making sure that the reader clearly knows what you're actually good at doing. What skills, what hard skills, and what soft skills do you possess for that role? And don't forget to be tailoring this to the application. So you need to be having a look at the job description and finding out what is being asked of you. So if you're a marketing manager and the job description says the essential skills is to have digital marketing or e-commerce or MailChimp, for example, as a skill, you want to be matching this in the cover letter to showcase that you are the right person for that position. Again, I'll show you a couple of samples, but just as an overall summary. And the third paragraph being that you should be able to ask them to be doing a call to action. So I invite you for an interview, I invite you to read my attached cover letter or CV, depending if you are emailing them, if this is an email or not. So a call to action should be a clear set of instructions that you would like the reader to do. And you want to thank them in closing. So you're being polite. So how do we format the CV? So this should also be applicable to the cover letter, but we want to be making sure that we've got nice margins, maximum of 1.25 inches, which at the end of the day, it's the standard Word format. This is normal. If you're going to be changing this to allow for extra space, you want nothing less than 0.5 inches. Your spacing, this is something really important as well. The minimum should be 1.15. You want to be including double spacing after any paragraph. Make sure that you're leaving space for your e-signature. And a nice trick that you can include to be able to encourage the reader when skimming or scanning the document is to be bolding text that you want to emphasize. So this will be able to help highlight specific skills or qualifications to be able to grab their attention. The types of fonts that you want to be using are Times New Roman, Arial, or Tahoma. I'm not sure how to pronounce this, to be honest, but these are the three basic fonts. Don't be doing anything fancy. These are typically fonts that are acceptable by the applicant tracking software, as well as by recruiters or HR professionals. Okay, so my probably number 1 or 2 most important tip when you're emailing and writing a cover letter, this will go for both sections of this presentation, is to personalize your opening. And what I mean by that is don't write "to whom it may concern" or "dear sir" or "dear madam." To be quite honest with you, it doesn't look like you have done the research to who you are addressing the document for. And at the end of the day, if you receive a letter, you feel like it's a personal touch. You feel like that person is really reaching out to you. So as much as you can, try and find out who the hiring manager is, or even who the HR coordinator or whomever the email or cover letter is going to be opened by, because they're more likely to read the full document if it's addressed to them rather than "dear sir," "dear madam." So at the very least, and what I would recommend is write "dear executive director" or "dear HR coordinator." So put a title. It's the least least preferred option, but it's better than "dear sir" or "dear madam," because it just gives a personalized approach. So it's really important. Now this, again, you can take a screenshot of this if you would like. You're more than welcome to. This would be a cover letter where you want to be making sure that you're also putting the address. So this is specifically for Australia. Now, quite often, if you're applying on LinkedIn and for the Middle East region, it may not be significant. But if you're applying for a position with a physical address with a company, include that, okay? If you don't have the address of the company, you put the date up the top here. So you can have either or either. So the company's address or the date. It's really important to be having the RE. So what is this letter actually regarding? What is it about? So I've got the job title and the reference number. Now you'll always be able to find these on LinkedIn or the job advert. And now, "Dear Trisha Chapman." So this top section where I've got highlighted in yellow is something you need to be making sure for your cover letter that you are including each and every application. It ensures that it's personalized, not only for the person reading it, but also personalized for the company. So I'm going to pause here and ask if there's any questions.
Trisha, I don't see any questions as such. Just
No.
someone has asked about the someone has just asked about the fonts, and it's answered as well. I have a question here, if you don't mind. I would like to
Sure,
ask. So,
absolutely.
great. Regarding the I can see that it says a reference number. Instead of reference number, I've seen quite a lot of people put in subject as well. So instead of, do you think that's something that people should avoid? Instead of subject, you should put in reference. What do you recommend? Hi, Trisha, are you there? I think Trisha's video has gone up. No worries. Okay, great. So I can see a couple of questions coming in. Okay, suppose the job poster is unknown. Whom should we address the cover letter to? Great question. Let's wait for Trisha to join in. In the meanwhile, we can let Awal talk. Awal, are you there? Awil, the founder of the By Jobs Hunt. Awil, please, we would like to hear something from you in the meanwhile, while Trisha's away. Probably you can take the questions as well. Awil, are you there? Great. Hi,
Hello.
Awil. Hi, good to see you.
Thank you, Trisha.
I know you're in the middle of work, but a couple of people have questions, so maybe we could take that. What do you think?
Yes, indeed. I
Great.
think she disconnected through internet.
Uh, yes, internet
Yeah.
is, I think, a problem, but I'll make her the co-host when she joins in. So people are asking, what if this, suppose the job post is unknown, whom should we address the cover letter to?
Okay, interesting question. A lot of the applications we post, a lot of the vacancies that we post sometimes would not have job descriptions or references, or who is posting it. Organization simply will have only Gmail ID to
Exactly.
send the resume. In this case, ideally, what you should do if you're applying for, say, for an accountant role or an HR role, if you're HR generalist, then or an accountant, so you would fairly have a detail of that job role. Ideally, what I recommend people is research ideal job role of an accountant in this UAE market, particularly targeting the market that you're applying, and compare at least 5 job descriptions online. So you have details available, job descriptions are available online, download it, read through the job descriptions, read the fine lines, at least the top 3 things every role, for example, accountant would need to have, would need to possess in terms of skills, experience, or qualifications, and that should go into your cover or in terms of email body, and I think that would help. I think I'm able to
Yes.
help with the question. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Avan. Thank you so much. Great. So this was the question someone had. So thank you so much. And we will maybe take a couple of questions later when Trisha joins in. And thank you so much, Aval. Thank you
Is
for
she there in
joining
the
us.
call now?
I can't see her yet.
She just joined.
Okay,
She
yeah,
just
yeah, I
joined.
can see.
Okay,
Okay, perfect. I'll
great.
just make her co-host. Thank you so much, Aval, for the help.
Welcome.
Thank you. Trisha, are you there?
I am. I'm not sure what happened.
No worries, it's okay. It's maybe the network problem.
Okay.
Can you? Yeah, I have made you the host as well.
Okay. Amazing.
Great. So
Um,
there was a question in the chat box. You want me to cover that again? So I invited Abel to answer the question, which he answered very well as well.
sure.
But maybe if you want to take it up as well, it was about who should we address? Who should we address the letter?
Who should we address it to?
Yeah, who should we address the cover letter to? If you don't know so someone asked, if you don't know the person who is responsible, then what do we go about doing? And there's someone else who asked, who do we address it to if you don't
Yep.
know the person? Yeah.
Good question. So I guess it depends. So if you're applying for multiple jobs, it can be a little bit tricky and a lot of it's time consuming, but where possible, try and have a look on LinkedIn, for example. If you go to the company page, you can more than likely find out either the hiring manager or the HR coordinator, or if you scroll down, some people might have LinkedIn Premium. I know not everyone does, which is totally fine. But if you scroll down, you can see who is hiring, and then you address your cover letter to that person. So where possible, try and do your homework to see who the hiring manager is or the HR coordinator, wherever possible. But I'm trying to steer you away from writing "Dear Madam" or "Dear Sir." It's just it's important where possible to be able to write it as a personalized approach. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Okay. No worries. So don't forget, by the way, make sure that you're also putting your own contact details up there. That's another tip. To make it look as professional as possible, you want to have your contact details because you want to be easily found, not only your signature, but to have your details at the top of the document.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Trisha.
You are welcome. Okay, so once we have introduced ourselves, you also want to be making sure that you're showcasing your passion. So what's unique about you? Now, at the end of the day, every HR or hiring manager has got a lot of applications and cover letters to screen through. But if you try to match and coincide the mission statement of the organization, or maybe a couple of key skills that are requested on the job advert, and include that in your introduction, it automatically gives the reader a feel that you are a better match. So again, do your homework and make sure that you find out what the company is actually looking for, or what the job description itself is requesting. So for example, and again, you can take a screenshot of this, but you're going to be introducing yourself, and you've got the enclosed resume. You are presenting yourself in response to the job title that is mentioned. And you want to explain a little bit of background about you. So how many years of experience have you got? So we've got 14 years of experience, and you've got transferable skill sets. And here, highlighted in yellow, are the soft skills, or the essential skills that you're going to showcase. Now, you should be matching these with the skills that are mentioned in the job. So I would be tailoring this. So if I've got a different application that's requesting different skills, I'm going to be inserting those into this section. Okay. And then you're going to let them know that you're confident that your unique skill set will support the advancement of XYZ company. So as you can see, it's personalized, and it really showcases your skills to the job application. So it's a 4 to 5 sentence introductory statement about yourself and what you're going to offer the company. Okay, so moving towards the second paragraph, you really want to be making sure that you're connecting the dots. So what skills are you offering and the job is requesting of you? So you not only want to be stating both, but you want to be providing support or evidence or proof of why you're actually good for this job. So don't just be saying I'm the best fit for the person for the job application. You want to now demonstrate why you're effective for this. And this comes down to achievements, or showcasing what you're actually good at doing. So how do we do this? So more so for a technical position, but you're going to be showcasing that you've got an educational background that fits what's being requested. And you're going to highlight initiatives or something that you implemented. So for example, for this cover letter, his unique academic background includes horticulture from the Institute of TAFE Institute, which is, his degree. And as a result of this degree, it has provided him skill sets to be able to streamline practices and protocols. So you've got your degree, that's fantastic. But an impressive cover letter, you will link what your degree has given you. So you've got your degree, and now what have you implemented into your daily practice? Okay. So you're linking the education with the skills that you have learned over your career. The next step further is to describe initiatives that you have integrated into your workplace. So for example, this gentleman has got an academic background in horticulture. He has then streamlined policies and procedures, and as a result, he initiated pre-start machinery checklists, and he preempted malfunctions to ensure that staff were appropriately trained on the machine itself. So you've now closed the loop on your education, on the skills that you have established as a result of your education, and then clear, quantifiable metrics as a result of the experience and education. I hope I'm making sense, but you're linking and closing the loop on all three. And again, you can take a screenshot of this, but you're going to be changing this each and every time according to the job application. So there's specific examples that the reader needs to learn of what value you can offer the next employer. Okay. So the third paragraph, I'll just go back, sorry, to this example. The third paragraph, which is the last one at the bottom, is what you're going to invite them. What do you want the reader to do? So for example, you want the reader to find your CV enclosed. You would like to arrange for a discussion via phone to discuss your application further. Perhaps maybe this is the second or third time that you have been in contact with this person and you would like to meet them for a coffee. So what call to action would you like the reader to be doing as a result of reading your cover letter? I always think that it's important to finalize a nice sentence that's polite and courteous, such as, I believe I will make a valuable contribution to your team. It's like a warm, fuzzy feeling when you finished reading the document to say, wow, you know, I really want this person to be a part of my team member, part of one of my team members. So a call to action is something that each and every cover letter we should be incorporating. Most importantly, if you would like to have that professional look, is to include an e-signature. So I think MS Word, it's free. Yeah, in fact, I'm sure you can insert this free with MS Word, and it just gives that professional look to your cover letter and your application. So we call it warm language. So if you would like to be more specific with examples in your cover letter, like what achievements you have integrated into your previous working history, you can physically list them. So again, I will leave this here if you want a screenshot, but rather than really heavily long sentences, you can physically dot point 3, 4, up to 5, depending on the position that you're going for, maybe 6 achievements that you would really like to make sure that the reader knows about you. Yes, I did mention the e-signature. Okay, so this is probably something that not everyone actually does, but it's important to have someone else read your cover letter, because at the end of the day, when you're writing and sending so many applications, you often forget and just are mesmerized in terms of the words just amalgamate into one or two. You know, you've read the thing so many times that maybe to you it sounds amazing, but for someone else as a third set of eyes, it's important that they have a grasp of what you're trying to actually say. So ask a close friend, your mentor, maybe even your boss, if you've got a good relationship with him, if you're going for a promotion, him or her, I should say, if you're going for a promotion, where the next set of eyes are actually
Hi, okay. I think Trisha's internet is having an issue. In the meanwhile, we can take up questions. So if you have any questions, you can write it in the chat box and you can let us know what questions you have regarding jobs, regarding the cover letter, what she's talking about, and we will take it up once she's back And in the meanwhile, if any of you would like to ask questions, I can unmute you and we can talk about it. I personally never really had, I never paid so much attention to the cover letter. So this is really, really exciting for me because I'm also taking notes. And this is an extremely helpful session. And thank you so much, Aval, for inviting Trisha for the session. Santosh, are you there? Aval, are you there? Hi.
I'm here. Avil is there.
Great. So thank you so much, Aval, for actually inviting Trisha because I really never knew the importance of cover letter. And I'm sure so many of the job seekers here also aren't aware. And the conversation that we were having is that, people just send out the resume just like that. In fact, even I invited a couple of applications recently for my new job, the company I'm working for. And I had people just send in, hi, sir, please find my resume attached. And I was like, hello, at least look at me, look at the profile, but so it's extremely important, right? So would you like to share anything more about
One
it?
of the best things from this session one could take is personally that I see here, everybody at some point as job seekers have to introduce, have to be doing, tell me about yourself. You would
Yes.
be mentioning about why you are applying for that role when you
Yeah.
apply on LinkedIn or online job portal, or when you send CV via email, or even to the extent of WhatsApp. So nowadays people prefer to quickly check over WhatsApp. Now, when you're
Yes.
sending it on WhatsApp, is it just to just send the CV, or would you have some write up with it? And I think if you carefully listen to, or you've been listening to Trisha, you might have got some insights on what possibly you could write it in summary, some bullet points, or few sentences that can make the recruiter, HR, hiring manager to consider the profile. I receive what CVs on WhatsApp just sent without anything, and sometimes it is shared as Word format. Now, if you have graphics and when you open Word format, it's all over the place. It's
Yeah.
very difficult to have that proper structure to see through. So ideally, my recommendation is send PDF version when you're sending CV
Right.
on WhatsApp,
Yes.
particularly because
Yeah.
then when you open PDF format, your content is not disrupted, or the structure wouldn't change. It's easy on the eyes, easy to read as well. Otherwise, if you open a Word format, the photo would be in the one corner and
Yeah.
the bullet points will be all over the place. So I always tell people when they send it on Word format, please send it in PDF format. Okay. So this is one recommendation. I think meantime
So
Trisha would come in. Yeah.
yeah, I have one more question as well. I remember you telling me because you've been my guru for everything in terms of jobs. So I remember you telling me that don't have an infographic resume as well, right? You always tell me that like have a Word document or have something in place which is not with a lot of graphics on it, right? So do you recommend people, job seekers, to also do that and not have an infographic CV instead of?
Look, this is something that I've been learning over a period of time from professional CV writers, and including
Yeah.
Trisha. She would vouch for it, and she was the one in the last session where she said, when you have infographics or graphics, the ATS compliant, the ATS tool may not recognize the content within that graphics. Okay, the text format is ideally recommended,
Right.
and it's good to have content in the Word format. Okay, when I say Word format, it is not Word doc, but
Yeah.
text within, not having too many tables and too many
Right.
graphics,
Right.
so that when the CV goes through ATS, it will recognize the text. I
Correct.
think this is something which job seekers should be aware.
Right.
And there are people who do great templates. The CV looks brilliant when you open it, but it's important to check whether it is ATS compliant, and that's why graphics and infographics may not recognize that element, that part.
Right. It should be avoided completely.
Yeah,
Right.
ideally
Right.
avoided.
Right.
But for example, now if you're
Yeah.
applying, it depends on the profession as well, like fashion designer, if you're a fashion designer, or if you're in a creative artist, and when you're applying, you probably have to put up images and graphics of the works that you have done or designed. Okay, in this case, there's an exception. Okay, so people would like to see the work, the projects that you have handled. So in those cases, of course, it is case to case. It does not apply to every job that you're applying, right?
Right, absolutely. Great. There are some people asking questions. I don't know if you can take them. If possible, please, it'll be lovely. Kushal is saying hi to you first, and he says, "Good
Hi,
evening, ma'am
Kushal.
and sir." And hi, Kushal. And he says he's asking a question. I wanted to know how lengthy should the resume or cover letter be? And I think actually before Aval starts, Aval has an amazing page as well, and he does multiple videos, Kushal. So you should join our Dubai Jobs and Community. It is on Facebook as well as we are on Telegram where we post jobs. But Facebook is where all our volunteers as well are doing multiple videos every single day, and we are taking in efforts to go ahead and share the details with you. So please go ahead and watch his video. He's covered most of it, but
Thank you.
regardless, I will, yeah, you
Let's
can
take the question.
yeah, I wanted to know how lengthy the cover letter and resume should be. So yeah.
Okay, so again, subject to position, subject to profession, career. Ideally, CV should not be more than 2 pages. If you look at the senior executives, they have 1 page executive summary. That's their CV. Okay, so you might challenge, oh, I cannot have 1 page CV. So restrict it to 2 pages. And if you have, like for example, in IT profession, they do a lot of projects and they have to highlight that. They have to probably detail it. And they might need to have more than 2 pages or up to 3 pages. So other professions, 2 pages, I think is fair. You can cover many points. If not, you can go up to 3.
Okay, thank you so much, Aval. I think Trisha is back. Hi, Trisha. I think the network is having some problems. Are you there? Trisha, are you? Yeah, okay. Hi.
Hello,
Hi.
I'm sorry everyone. I'm not sure what's happened, but anyway,
It's okay. It's okay.
nonetheless,
Please go ahead.
I'm almost finished. So I'm really sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, well, I'm sure you managed with the gap. So let me share my screen again. So I guess where I left off was with the closing of the email. Thank them. Do a test run. Make sure that you've spell checked and everything is customized, and that you're sending it to the right organization for the right job title. You wouldn't believe how many emails I have received, cover letters. The wrong cover letter is not being sent for the right job application. So just be vigilant, because at the end of the day, it's going to really impact whether you're employed or not. So without further ado, and I hope I don't get cut off again, how do we write an impressive email? Now that we've got a cover letter ready to be attached to the email, what do we do to write that email? Because at the end of the day, a recruiter or a hiring manager or whoever is going to be employing you literally have got hundreds of emails to filter through. So what makes something stand out? I definitely would be encouraging English to be as professional as we can. Try and make sure that we are courteous and that we are being tailored. Once again, you want to be making sure where possible you're addressing the person correctly. So there is a difference between cold emailing versus replying to a specific message or a specific application. So I'm not going to go into a lot of details for each of the two, but they do have a different formality. Cold emailing, you are going to be requiring a lot more details versus when you're replying to a specific application. But in general, it's really important to be including an appropriate subject line. Again, you wouldn't believe how many emails I receive with nothing in the subject line. So if you're applying for a specific job, make sure in that subject line you are including either the job title or the job reference number. Because when hiring managers are looking for talent, they're quite often got 2 or 3, maybe even multiple jobs that they're looking to fill. So if you are specific with which application you would like the hiring manager to be referencing and reading and opening for, it's a quick scan for that person to be able to highlight whether they're going to be opening your email or not. Because to be honest, if you receive an email with no subject line, or the subject line is hi or job seeker, I'm more than likely not going to even open it at all. So really be specific about your subject line, because it will determine whether that email is opened or not. Make sure that you don't have spelling mistakes or capital letters here and there throughout the subject line. And my quick tips for the day is, again, you can screenshot this, but here are my 15 tips, and again, I don't have time to go through all of these, and here is an example that you can copy. I will briefly go through this, but again, subject line, dear hiring manager's name where possible, and that you have attached your CV or cover letter for the position. So make sure that you are specific, because you may very well know which job you want to apply for, but the hiring manager may have multiple roles that he or she is trying to fill. So be specific. Provide a short little summary in your email of why you should be hired, why you want the recruiter or hiring manager to be reading your CVs attached or your cover letter attached. Okay, a brief sentence, so keeping it crisp, how many years experience you've got, and 1 or 2 achievements, and a call to action, so to find your CV attached. So once again, it's personalized and what specific application you are referring to. Again, here's another example for you. You can screenshot this if you would like, but it's so important in an email to keep it brief, because people have got numerous emails to go through and they just want to be able to scan and find out the key points about you as a job seeker. Again, here's another example. You can take a screenshot of this. As you can see in all of these examples I'm showcasing you, it's clear, concise, to the point, and 2 or 3 achievements of why they should hire you or why they should read the CV. Okay. So you want to be requesting an opportunity to meet or discuss this further, or to be a call to action to read the attached CV. Now, once again, you wouldn't believe how many times I've received an email to say, please find attached my resume, and then there's nothing attached. To be honest with you, am I going to go chasing you for the attachment? Probably not. In fact, I've got hundreds of other people that I can scan or use my applicant tracking software system to find the attached resume. So make sure you're proofreading your email body. So that was it in closing, but my key takeaway points was in the examples. So make sure that you are, here we go. My 15 points here, make sure that you are following all of these, and a call to action is most appropriate. Is there any questions at all?
Hello, Trisha. Thank you so much for this wonderful, wonderful session where you've taken us through everything. There's someone who has asked for your tip number 4. If you could just go back to the slide, please, so that the person can take the screenshot.
Yes. Which tip number 4?
He said snapshot of tip 4. Rajiv has asked. I think the one before this is, yes, I think advise when you're for the call. Is this what you were talking about, Rajiv? I think so. Okay, we will take their questions a little later. Before that, I would like to ask you a couple of questions if you allow me to.
Of
And
course.
great. And I'm just going to stop your sharing if that's okay with you. We
Yes,
can
yes,
stop the
please.
sharing. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Great. Amazing. Thank you so much once again, Trisha. It was an amazing, amazing session, and I've really learned a lot. I was just talking to Abel while you were away that I never realized myself that how important this is. And, I used to think this is just, it's not required as such. But I do have drafted a cover letter that I sent it out on my email. But as an attachment, I never really knew about it. So I'm definitely going to implement it, and I'm going to take all your tips with me. In the meanwhile, I will start with a couple of questions that I have for me. So I wanted to ask you, so what is the possibility that a recruiter will go ahead, click on the download button, open my cover letter? I mean, I know they will definitely do it for the resume, but what about the cover letter? Is it possible? Do recruiters really do that? Yeah.
Good question. Very good question. Cover letter maybe is a dinosaur tool. I know, I understand this, but there's two responses to this. One, make it one document. So put the cover letter, and then so that the recruiter physically has to scroll down to your CV. Why do I suggest that? Because you can fit more keywords. So if you've got an applicant tracking software, the cover letter and CV as one document will allow you to have more keywords and a higher ranking and compatibility match versus if you're sending two separate documents. The second thing is that some, not all, but some job applications on the portal asks you to upload a cover letter. So that's when you would be needing them to be separate.
Wow, that's great, lovely. So, so let's say, for example, I have a resume, so I should attach it in my Word document along with my resume as well. So it'll be the cover letter will be the first page, and rest follows, right? Okay, great. And another question that we were discussing while also was in my mind was, is it recommended to send a PDF, or do you recommend sending a Word document? And following that, is it recommended that you have a digital resume, like, you call it infographic CV, or do you recommend to have just a generic one with words written? Like the example you showed us was all text, right? So do you recommend that, or what do you recommend? Yeah,
good question. So to be honest with you, most applications will specify what format they want. The most common and accepted by applicant tracking software system is dot for Tango, and docs and PDF. So usually job applications, even if it's in the fine print down the bottom of the application, it will specify what file format you need to send it. If you're sending it directly to an email, just through normal Gmail or Outlook or whatever you use, I would recommend you send it in a PDF format. Save it in PDF. Okay. Why? Because, for example, if I'm using Microsoft Office 2003 and you've got the latest 2016 version, when I download your .docs or cover letter and resume, the formatting may scatter on a normal email versus PDF, it's standardized. So unless something clearly specifies .docs I would send it in a PDF format, and also it's then not editable very easily.
Exactly. So I had someone, I sent him my resume, and the next minute he's like, "Hi, I like your format. Can you send me in a document? Because I want to copy it." And I was like, "Hello, you have to have a different resume, right, for yourself?" There's one question. So Abel also covered that in the question when I asked him, was that ATS compliant resume. When they say ATS compliant resume, does it mean that you need to have a Word document resume, or is it okay to have PDF as well? Be it the cover letter as well as the Word document. Let's say I upload separately. So does it have to be a doc, or does it have to be .pdf? So yeah.
Good question. So nowadays, to be honest with you, applicant tracking software has actually been around for years and years and years. It's just that it was sort of a hidden gem for HR people. And now it's becoming familiar for us job seekers. So as time has evolved, a lot of tracking systems, in fact, I don't know of any that don't accept PDF. So it's quite acceptable to be using either or either, because these days the tracking software system has the ability to scan no matter what format of the saved file. It's just the text itself, so no infographics. I hope I've answered that clearly for people to understand.
Yes, perfectly. I got it. Yes.
Good.
Lovely. Amazing. Okay. And another question that I have for you is, why is cover letter so important? Like, because I have received resumes myself. So when I recently joined my job, there was an opening for accountant and there was an opening for sales. So I went ahead and posted it across groups, and I started receiving emails which just said, "Dear sir" or "Dear madam," and as you already mentioned, and it didn't even have my name. In fact, I have posted it on multiple groups with my name, yet
Yes.
it didn't have my name, and they just said, "Please find my resume and thank you for the
Yes.
opportunity." So how important, if you could just, I know you've covered it already, but if you could just highlight
Okay.
the
Yeah.
importance,
I
on the
can't
email.
stress the importance enough. The job market is saturated at the moment. There's literally people desperate, and I truly, I understand it. I mean, we've all got to put food on the table. So when you're desperate for a job, or to secure your family and, financial aspects, you just go ahead and get the documents out left, right, and center. And I understand that. But at the end of the day, it's not going to get you anywhere, and it's not going to be effective or efficient as taking the time to find out who you are addressing that document to, because you need, the first thing and the ideal thing is, you want an interview. You want to be able to get your foot in the door to explain who the hell are you. Yeah. Now, addressing it with a sincere and personalized approach is far more likely. You've got a higher chance of success to be able to get an interview or a response from the recruiter if you address it appropriately, rather than just sending one document to 100 people every day.
Right, absolutely. Wow, that was lovely. Thank you so much, Trisha. This was my question. So, one last question following up to this one. So, is it okay to send the cover letter as a text on the email instead of me attaching it separately? Is it okay, or no? It's
Mhm.
not recommended.
Yeah.
What do you say?
So at the end of the day, the email, you don't want it to be really, really long, because no one's going to sit there and read a lengthy email. It should
Yeah.
be short, clear, concise, with a call to action. If you want to attach a cover letter separately in an email, then that's fine. There's no right or wrong. There's no golden rule. So long as you have your points across clearly and what you want the reader to do. If the application states, please attach a cover letter, make sure you do.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Trisha. This was the question I had. Now I have someone very special to do the vote of thanks first, and then we will move on to answering the questions for the post, which is posted in the chat box. So the very special person who is here to do the vote of thanks is right here. He's the founder of the By Jobs Hunt and my mentor, my coach, and my guru. So here it is. Aval is here. Aval, please go ahead. I'll unmute you as well. Yeah.
Firstly, thank you, Tulika, for hosting with so much energy. I know that last 2 days you've been in Abu Dhabi and you're on the field, and I know how hectic it is, but yet I see the different energy. Thank you so much for being with us today. I know that you have to rush for another meeting now, but yet you took out time for this. Thank you. And special thanks to our talented Trisha. I would call her talented because what you have done today, Trisha, is one is you shared a session which is intelligent, informative, and insightful.
With pleasure, absolutely.
And
I
it
truly
is
hope you're right.
so much needed, or all job seekers, every job seeker needs to be educated on these basics. They send CVs, but they don't realize that they're missing out on why I am not getting RIPS response or a call from HR. And I've been in the shoes of a recruiter, I've been in the shoes of talent acquisition, and I used to straight away send it to junk
Please.
or delete, because if somebody doesn't care to even write 2-3 sentences, then how serious he is for getting
Absolutely.
hired. So you touched a very important topic. Thank you so much.
You're most
And
welcome.
there are a couple of people who have been behind to make this happen, because there's a lot of coordination that happens to do these sessions and week-long preparation. So every Thursday we have career day with empowerment talks. So I would like to thank Santosh D'Souza. So I call him Sunday with Sandy. So if you all are on Dubai Jobs Hunt, do watch his videos. He comes every Sunday and shares some experience to help job seekers. Then we have someone who couldn't make it because since yesterday she's unwell, and she's none other than Sushma, superstar Sushma. Thank you so much for preparing all the back end work, but unfortunately you couldn't make it. But I know that your spirit and your energy is there. You're there. You're listening to us. Thank you. This sessions wouldn't have happened with the collaboration with Empowerment Talks, the people behind Faisal and Yash. Thank you so much. Not to miss all the Dubai Jobs and volunteers. They're helping to share the flyers, the meeting details, the session details everywhere. I think that's most important because we are doing such amazing job of sharing information, vital information to job seekers, and it has to be shared in people. And sometimes people wonder that, oh, there is sessions like this which are available for free, and this session which Trisha shared would cost a lot if you have to go and opt outside. So once again, if I've missed somebody, to thank